Breaking free from big tech surveillance. Your guide to privacy-first smartphones introduction. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're diving deep into one of the most important topics in digital privacy. How to escape the constant surveillance that has become synonymous with modern smartphones. If you've ever felt uncomfortable knowing that your phone tracks your every move, records your conversations for advertising purposes, and builds detailed profiles of your personal life, then this video is exactly what you need. The uncomfortable truth is that mainstream mobile operating systems like iOS, Android, and Windows Phone have transformed our personal devices into sophisticated surveillance tools. Every tap, swipe, location change, and even the apps you simply browse through are being meticulously recorded and transmitted to corporate servers. This isn't some conspiracy theory. It's documented reality that these companies openly acknowledge in their privacy policies, though they bury the details in legal jargon that most users never read. But here's the empowering news. You don't have to accept this invasion of privacy as the price of modern convenience. There are legitimate, practical alternatives that can give you back control over your digital life without sacrificing the functionality you depend on. Today, we're going to explore the world of privacy-respecting mobile operating systems, from Linux-based solutions to custom Android builds that strip out the surveillance components entirely. We'll examine the pros and cons of each approach, discuss which solutions work best for different types of users, and I'll even share some exciting news about upcoming hardware designed specifically for privacy-conscious consumers. Whether you're a tech enthusiast ready to dive into custom firmware or someone who just wants a phone that respects your privacy without requiring a computer science degree, there's a solution here for you. The privacy crisis in modern smartphones. Before we explore the solutions, it's crucial to understand exactly what we're escaping from. Modern smartphones running iOS or standard Android aren't just communication devices. They're comprehensive data collection platforms that would make surveillance states of the past envious. Every interaction you have with your device generates data points that are collected, analyzed, and monetized by massive technology corporations. When you use an iPhone, Apple knows not just which apps you use and when, but how long you spend in each app, what you search for, where you go, and even how you hold your device. The company's neural engines and machine learning algorithms create detailed behavioral profiles that can predict your actions, preferences, and even your emotional states. While Apple markets itself as privacy-focused compared to Google, the reality is that they're simply more selective about who gets access to your data. They still collect enormous amounts of personal information. Android devices present an even more invasive scenario. Google's business model is built entirely on data collection and targeted advertising, so Android phones are designed from the ground up to maximize information gathering. Google Play Services, which runs constantly in the background of most Android devices, has system-level access that allows it to monitor virtually everything you do. This includes not just your app usage and location data, but also your voice patterns, typing habits, sleep schedules, and social connections. The telemetry systems built into these operating systems are incredibly sophisticated. They don't just collect data about what you do on your phone. They create connections between your device activity and your identity across the entire internet. That search you did on your phone gets linked to your browsing history on your laptop. The location where you took a photo connects to your search history and shopping patterns. The result is a comprehensive digital profile that knows you better than you know yourself. This surveillance extends beyond the operating system itself. The app ecosystems on these platforms are designed to maximize data extraction. Apps routinely request permissions far beyond what they need for their core functionality, and users typically grant these permissions without understanding the implications. Social media apps, navigation apps, shopping apps, and even seemingly innocent games are all participants in this vast data collection network. Open source operating systems. The path to digital freedom. The most effective way to escape this surveillance apparatus is to abandon these mainstream operating systems entirely in favor of open source alternatives. Open source software offers transparency that proprietary systems simply cannot match. When the source code is publicly available, security researchers and privacy advocates can verify that the software does what it claims to do and nothing more. Open source mobile operating systems strip away the tracking mechanisms, telemetry systems, and data collection infrastructure that define mainstream platforms. Instead of sending your personal information to corporate servers, these systems keep your data on your device where it belongs. They don't build advertising profiles, don't track your location for commercial purposes, and don't monitor your behavior to predict your future actions. The philosophical difference is profound. While mainstream operating systems treat users as products to be monetized, open-source alternatives treat users as individuals with legitimate privacy rights. This isn't just about hiding your data. It's about fundamentally changing the relationship between you and your technology. With open-source systems, your device works for you, not for distant corporations seeking to profit from your personal information. However, the transition to open-source mobile systems isn't without challenges. These alternatives often require some technical knowledge to install and configure properly. They may not support all the apps you're accustomed to using, and they sometimes lack the polished user interfaces that mainstream systems provide. But for users who prioritize privacy over convenience, these trade-offs are often worthwhile. Linux-based mobile solutions. Promise and practical limitations. The most purist approach to mobile privacy involves running full Linux distributions on smartphone hardware. Projects like Ubuntu Touch, Post-Market OS, and Pine Phone represent the cutting edge of open-source mobile computing. These systems offer the same level of control and transparency that Linux users enjoy on desktop computers, extended to mobile devices. Linux phones provide unprecedented control over your device. You can modify any aspect of the system, install only the software you choose, and have complete transparency about what your device is doing at all times. There are no hidden background processes sending data to corporate servers, no advertising tracking systems, and no artificial restrictions on what you can do with your own hardware. The hardware choices for Linux phones have expanded significantly in recent years. The Pine Phone and Pine Phone Pro offer affordable entry points into Linux mobile computing, while the Librem 5 provides a more premium experience with hardware kill switches for the modem, Wi-Fi, and cameras. These devices are designed from the ground up to respect user privacy and freedom. Unfortunately, Linux phones face significant practical limitations that prevent them from being viable solutions for most users, particularly in North America. The biggest challenge is cellular network compatibility. Many Linux phone models use European frequency bands and modems that don't work properly with North American carriers. Even when basic connectivity works, features like VoLTE, Voice over LTE, often don't function correctly, leading to poor call quality and reliability issues. Battery life represents another major obstacle. Linux mobile distributions haven't achieved the power management optimizations that years of development have brought to Android and iOS. Users frequently report battery life measured in hours rather than days, making these devices impractical for people who need reliable all-day communication. App ecosystem limitations compound these technical challenges. While Linux phones can run some Android apps through compatibility layers, the experience is often sluggish and unreliable. Many essential applications, from banking apps to rideshare services, simply don't work at all. For users who depend on specific apps for work or daily life, this represents an insurmountable barrier. The user experience on Linux phones often feels unfinished compared to mature mobile platforms. Touch interfaces may be unresponsive, features may be missing or broken, and the overall polish that users expect from modern smartphones is frequently absent. While these systems are constantly improving, they're currently better suited for enthusiasts and developers rather than average consumers. De-Googled Android. The practical privacy solution for users who want privacy without sacrificing functionality. The Googled Android phones represent the most practical current solution. These devices run custom versions of Android based on the Android Open Source Project, AOSP, but with all Google services and tracking components removed. The result is a familiar Android experience without the surveillance infrastructure. The Android Open Source Project provides the foundation for this approach. Google releases the core Android operating system as open source, which allows developers to create custom versions that remove proprietary Google components while maintaining compatibility with Android apps. These custom ROMs, read-only memory modifications, can eliminate virtually all of Google's tracking mechanisms while preserving the functionality that makes Android useful. The Googled phones typically achieve around 90% compatibility with standard Android applications. Most apps work exactly as they would on a regular Android device, but without the ability to send data to Google's servers. Apps that depend heavily on Google Play services may not function, but alternatives usually exist. For example, instead of Google Maps, users might use OpenStreetMap-based navigation apps that don't track location data. The privacy benefits of the Googled Android are substantial. Without Google Play services running in the background, your device stops sending constant telemetry data about your location, app usage, and behavior patterns. Your Google account is no longer linked to your device activity, making it much harder for the company to build comprehensive profiles of your digital life. Third-party apps also lose much of their tracking capability since they can't rely on Google's advertising and analytics infrastructure. Several high-quality custom ROMs cater to privacy-conscious users, each with different strengths and target audiences. Understanding these options is crucial for choosing the right approach for your needs and technical comfort level. Lineage OS. The foundation of custom Android. Lineage OS represents the most established and widely supported custom Android distribution. As the successor to the popular CyanogenMod project, Lineage OS has years of development behind it and supports hundreds of different device models. This broad hardware support makes it accessible to users with various phone models, from flagship devices to budget options. The Lineage OS project focuses on providing a clean, bloatware-free Android experience with enhanced privacy controls compared to stock Android. Users can choose which apps have internet access, control location permissions more granularly, and avoid the pre-installed tracking apps that come with most manufacturer Android builds. The system receives regular security updates, often more frequently than the original manufacturer provides. However, Lineage OS isn't specifically designed as a privacy-focused operating system. While it removes Google apps by default, it doesn't implement additional privacy hardening measures that more security-focused distributions provide. Users who install Google Play services can restore much of the original tracking functionality, somewhat defeating the privacy purpose. The installation process for Lineage OS requires unlocking your device's bootloader and flashing custom firmware, which can be intimidating for non-technical users. The process also typically voids your phone's warranty and carries some risk of permanently damaging the device if done incorrectly. Additionally, many Lineage OS installations don't include locked bootloaders, which can leave devices vulnerable to certain types of attacks. Specialized privacy-focused ROMs. Beyond Lineage OS, several custom ROM projects specifically target privacy and security-conscious users with additional hardening measures and privacy-focused features. iODOS represents one of the more promising privacy-focused alternatives. This distribution builds on AOSP with specific modifications designed to enhance user privacy and security. iODOS includes locked bootloader support on compatible devices, which provides better protection against tampering while maintaining the privacy benefits of a de-Googled system. The project also emphasizes user-friendly installation processes and includes privacy-oriented apps by default. The development team behind iODOS has focused on creating a system that balances privacy, security, and usability. They've implemented additional network privacy measures, enhanced permission controls, and curated app stores that prioritize open source and privacy-respecting applications. The system includes MicroG, an open-source implementation of Google Play services that allows many apps to function without sending data to Google. Brax OS takes a different approach, positioning itself as a comprehensive privacy solution rather than just an operating system. The project includes not only a custom Android ROM but also an ecosystem of privacy-focused services and applications. Brax OS features additional privacy hardening measures, built-in VPN integration, and tools for anonymous communication. Calyx OS targets users who want privacy without completely abandoning Google app compatibility. This ROM includes MicroG by default, allowing many Google-dependent apps to function while minimizing data collection. Calyx OS also emphasizes user-friendly installation through their device flashing service, making it accessible to less technical users. The project maintains strong security practices while providing regular updates and support. Each of these privacy-focused ROMs offers different balances of security, privacy, usability, and device support. The choice between them often comes down to specific user needs, technical comfort levels, and device compatibility. The Graphene OS controversy. No discussion of privacy-focused Android ROMs would be complete without addressing Graphene OS, which has gained significant attention in privacy communities while also generating considerable controversy. Technically, Graphene OS implements impressive security hardening measures that go beyond what most other custom ROMs provide. The project includes advanced exploit mitigations, hardened memory management, and security-focused modifications that can provide better protection against sophisticated attacks. However, Graphene OS faces significant criticism related to its community management and development practices. The project's leadership has been accused of creating a toxic environment that discourages community contributions and alienates potential users. Reports of harassment, gatekeeping, and unnecessarily aggressive responses to criticism have led many privacy advocates to recommend alternative solutions despite Graphene OS's technical merits. The usability of Graphene OS also presents challenges for average users. The system's focus on security hardening sometimes comes at the expense of user-friendliness, and the installation process can be more complex than other options. While these trade-offs might be acceptable for security professionals or highly technical users, they limit the ROM's appeal for broader audiences. These community and usability issues matter because they affect the overall ecosystem of privacy-focused mobile computing. When promising technical solutions are surrounded by negative social dynamics, it can discourage adoption and harm the broader movement toward privacy-respecting technology. The hardware challenge. Cost and availability. One of the biggest barriers to widespread adoption of privacy-focused mobile operating systems has been the hardware situation. Most users interested in the Googled phones need to purchase compatible devices and either install custom firmware themselves or pay someone else to do it for them. This process typically involves buying older or refurbished phones, since newer devices often have locked bootloaders or other restrictions that prevent custom ROM installation. The cost of entry has traditionally been high. Compatible devices in good condition can be expensive, especially for popular models that work well with custom ROMs. Professional flashing services add additional costs, and users often end up with phones that have degraded batteries or other hardware issues due to their age. This economic barrier has limited the privacy phone market to enthusiasts willing to pay premium prices for older hardware. Device selection has also been constrained by compatibility requirements. Only certain phone models work well with custom ROMs, and these models are often discontinued or hard to find. Users frequently can't get the exact features they want because they're limited to whatever devices happen to be supported by their preferred ROM project. Carrier compatibility presents another layer of complexity. Many custom ROM installations don't fully support carrier-specific features like Wi-Fi calling, visual voicemail, or advanced messaging services. some carriers actively discourage or block custom firmware through device verification systems, making it difficult to use privacy phones on certain networks. Introducing the Brax 3. A purpose-built privacy phone, the upcoming Brax 3 represents a potential breakthrough in making privacy phones accessible to mainstream users. Rather than requiring users to modify existing devices, the Brax 3 is designed from the ground up as a privacy-focused smartphone with modern hardware and competitive pricing. At a starting price of $279, the Brax 3 addresses one of the biggest barriers to privacy phone adoption: cost. This price point makes privacy-focused mobile computing accessible to users who couldn't previously afford the premium prices typically associated with custom ROM installations on quality hardware. The device includes modern specifications that should provide a smooth user experience comparable to mainstream smartphones in the same price range. The Brax 3 comes with Brax OS pre-installed, eliminating the technical barriers that prevent many users from trying privacy-focused ROMs. Users don't need to unlock bootloaders, flash firmware, or risk damaging their devices. They simply purchase a phone that respects their privacy out of the box. This approach removes the intimidation factor that keeps less technical users away from privacy phones. Hardware compatibility receives special attention in the Brax 3's design. The device supports major U.S. carriers including T-Mobile and AT&T, though Verizon compatibility is not included. This carrier support should make the phone practical for most American users without the connectivity issues that plague many privacy-focused devices. The phone also includes modern features like decent cameras, adequate storage, and reasonable battery life. Importantly, the Brax 3 is designed to support multiple operating systems. While it ships with Brax OS by default, the hardware should also work with other privacy-focused ROMs like iOS or even Ubuntu Touch. This flexibility means users aren't locked into a single software choice and can experiment with different privacy-focused operating systems on the same hardware platform. Building privacy ecosystems beyond hardware. Privacy phones represent just one component of a comprehensive approach to digital privacy. The most effective privacy strategies involve entire ecosystems of compatible services and applications that work together to protect user data across all aspects of digital life. Communication services play a crucial role in mobile privacy. Traditional SMS and phone calls are inherently insecure and often monitored by carriers and government agencies. Privacy-focused phones work best when paired with secure messaging applications, encrypted voice calling services, and anonymous phone number services that protect communication metadata. Email services represent another critical component. Most users rely on Gmail or other mainstream email providers that scan message content for advertising purposes and maintain detailed logs of communication patterns. Privacy-focused email services that don't track users or scan messages provide much better protection for digital communications. Navigation and mapping services present unique challenges for mobile privacy. Google Maps and Apple Maps track user location continuously and build detailed profiles of movement patterns. Privacy-focused alternatives based on OpenStreetMap data can provide navigation services without location tracking, though they may not have the same level of detail or real-time traffic information. App stores and software distribution systems also matter for mobile privacy. The Google Play Store tracks app installations, usage patterns, and purchase history while promoting apps that maximize data collection. Alternative app stores that focus on open source and privacy-respecting applications provide better options for users who want to maintain privacy across their entire app ecosystem. The future of privacy-focused mobile computing. The landscape of privacy-focused mobile computing continues to evolve rapidly. Increased awareness of surveillance capitalism and privacy violations by major technology companies has created growing demand for alternatives. This demand is driving innovation in both software and hardware solutions that prioritize user privacy over corporate data collection. Legislative pressure in regions like Europe is forcing major technology companies to provide more privacy controls and transparency about data collection practices. While these regulatory changes improve the situation somewhat, they don't fundamentally alter the business models that depend on surveillance. Privacy-focused alternatives remain the most effective way to escape comprehensive tracking and profiling. The technical maturity of privacy-focused mobile operating systems continues to improve. Projects like Lineage OS, IOD Oxygen Monosulfide, and Calyx OS are becoming more user-friendly while maintaining their privacy benefits. Installation processes are getting simpler, device support is expanding, and the overall user experience is approaching the polish of mainstream alternatives. Hardware innovation specifically targeting privacy-conscious users is beginning to emerge. The Brax 3 represents just one example of purpose-built privacy hardware that could make these solutions accessible to mainstream audiences. As demand grows, we can expect more manufacturers to enter this market with devices designed specifically for privacy-focused operating systems. Conclusion and community building. The path toward mobile privacy isn't just about individual choices. It's about building communities and ecosystems that support privacy-respecting technology. Users who make the switch to privacy-focused phones often need support, advice, and shared resources to make the transition successful. Communities like the Brax ecosystem provide valuable support for users exploring privacy-focused mobile computing. These communities offer technical assistance, recommended apps and services, and shared experiences that help newcomers navigate the challenges of leaving mainstream platforms. They also provide feedback to developers working on privacy-focused solutions, helping to improve these systems over time. The privacy phone movement represents more than just a technological shift. It's a statement that users refuse to accept surveillance as the price of modern convenience. Every person who chooses a privacy-focused phone helps demonstrate market demand for alternatives and supports the developers working to create better solutions. Whether you choose a custom ROM on existing hardware, wait for purpose-built privacy devices like the Brax 3, or explore Linux-based alternatives, the important thing is taking action to reclaim control over your digital life. The surveillance economy depends on user complacency and acceptance of the status quo. By choosing privacy-respecting alternatives, you're voting for a different vision of technology, one where devices serve users rather than exploiting them. The future of mobile computing doesn't have to involve comprehensive surveillance and privacy violations. With the solutions available today and the innovations coming tomorrow, we can build a mobile ecosystem that respects user privacy while providing the functionality we depend on. The choice is yours, and the tools are available. The question is, are you ready to take back control of your digital life? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll dive deeper into specific installation guides and hands-on reviews of these privacy-focused solutions. Please like and subscribe.